So I asked to do Kusatsu because this moon is so beautiful this month. I guess it's always beautiful, but when I see the full moon, I always think, when's Kusatsu? Because this is our time, full moon time, to reflect on our lives together. It's ancient practice from the time of the Buddha, so it's maybe, besides Zazen, one of our most ancient practices. Isn't that amazing? All those years of people doing Zazen. So anyway, we decided to do it during session, which this may be a first to do that. And the precept for this month, this talk, is don't be deluded. I think what we read, it's right here. I will cultivate a mind that sees clearly, not being deluded nor encouraging others to do so. I will cultivate a mind that sees clearly. I will embrace all experience directly. And specifically, it refers to drugs and alcohol. As fun as they are, we use things, and it's not just drugs and alcohol. I had about half a chocolate bar because I was nervous about the talk. All the time thinking about not being deluded. It was delicious. But, as a former biochemist, very short-term biochemist, but I particularly worked on evolution in biochemistry. I'm a believer that at least it's one way to examine our behavior is from the standpoint of making us do stuff. And our biology just wants us to have babies. Again, from an evolutionist standpoint, our only job is to have babies and raise the babies. And so there's all sorts of hormones that are making us feel good in the direction of propagation. And so we like sex. We're obsessed with sex. I don't know. Somehow I seem to be moving towards bears, and I really was not going to. But a bear's life is, first of all, I guess when they come out of hibernation, as hungry as they are, the male bears won't eat. They're just looking for a woman. And they just pretty much chase the women around. And then in order to take care of the babies, then the female bears just eat like crazy so they can feed their bears. So their greed for food is endless. And then the male bears also need to get super, super fat so they can hibernate again and then go through the whole thing again. So anyway, we've got these hormones we're dealing with, and we like to feel good. We like to feel good. And yeah, a glass of wine, joint, cocaine, caffeine, chocolate. Someone, a little boy said, chocolate. Mine is sugar. And it's just like, it just takes us over, right? just want to feel better. But we don't even have that conversation. It's just, I need sugar. I need coffee. Um, so that's how we usually look at this koan in terms of how that greed um, creates harm for itself and others. So, oh my, I hope this isn't going to be a long talk. Um, but like I was talking about yesterday, uh, the uh, the head monk who's intent on practice and seeing the emptiness of all things and letting go of all attachments um, for the sake of ourselves and others. Let go of attachment to feeling good. Um, Being able to be right here and to face whatever is right here. And then the senior old Roshi um, is living his life, just living his life, not thinking about oneness or anything. He's just living his life. And that life includes spring grasses. There's nothing better than a spring walk and the falling flowers. Fall is here. Leaves and flowers fall. Everything starts looking a little used. Uh, and to just be that, just be your life. But how do you do that? How do you just be your life? How do we manage our greed, anger, ignorance, and accept our life as it is? And as this says, embrace all experience directly. Embrace all experience directly. Cultivate a mind that sees clearly. Embrace all experience directly. How do we do that? I mean, it comes off the tongue very glibly, but hard to embrace the suffering of the world directly and our own suffering, our own trauma, our own neuroses, fear, um, um, how to embrace that directly. Well, the precepts are like our guides, our little guides. And like I keep saying, they're not ideas. If you're seeing them as ideas, then that's not it. They are more like little beings. So little don't be deluded. Every once in a while pokes their head up and goes, it's enough chocolate, Seisen. What's going on? What are you afraid of? What don't you want to face? So I was talking yesterday, that book where the guy finally goes to the bottom of the deepest trench, the deepest fear. Um, and there's all this treasure there, just as he had been promised. And when he comes up from the trench, it disappears, and the trench is still there. So this is the life of the bodhisattva, the practitioner, and not necessarily Buddhist. Many of you aren't Buddhist, but you're still practicing this. Practicing, embracing our life fully. I was thinking just now during the sitting, one of my biggest, gosh, there's only me. This picture, I look up and there's just me talking to me. Wow. Anyway, uh, oh, my regret is somehow I got into my head that physical pain, sitting with physical pain was really good, and that was how to face myself directly, was to sit with physical pain. And it happens sometimes with physical pain that it would go away, but more often it just got worse because the body was saying, don't sit like that, it hurts. And I misconstrued what that pain was. Um, I thought like I could just stretch my tendon and it would feel good, but what it is old trauma and the whole bunch of stuff that I'm carrying around in my body. So I really don't recommend that. I don't recommend sitting with intense pain. A little pain, good. Um, get used to it, see what it is. But I think it's much better to sit reasonably comfortable because it's still there. Like I start talking about it and start hurting. Let's not talk about me. Why are you talking about me? The fear, the shame comes up. So now I advocate for all of you, don't sit in pain, um, but do open up to the painful stuff that comes up. Because physical pain is like like the tendons tighten up with fear or anxiety, our body tightens up and that hurts. So, so yeah, that's our practice. Oh, good. It's not as long as I thought. Um, and especially during session, just because it's such a wonderful opportunity, there's nothing else going on, um, and a chance to embrace all experience directly. So whatever comes up, I want some chocolate. I need a drink. Um, need a smoke. Just watch how it comes up and how and then the joy too. The I think it's Yoku that coined that the bearing witness. We're bearing witness to our pain, to our delusion. Um, the delusion is that we're separate. When we really are one, the pain does disappear because we're bigger than that. But anyway, it's not just pain, it's joy too. But watch that. When that huge joy comes up, oh, I'm the best in the world. Now I've got the best understanding of everybody, and it's going to be here forever. So when you get that treasure, you find that treasure, all those illusion that comes up around that. And of course, 2 minutes later, gone, really gone. So I'll read you. I always, for the precept, read what everybody has to say about it. Everybody being Bodhidharma and Dogen Zenji. Bodhidharma says, self nature is inconceivably wondrous. He always says that. Is you think you know who you are and that you're an asshole and that you're no good or that you're better than everybody. You got some kind of idea of who you are, but you are actually inconceivably wondrous. That's who you are. In the intrinsically pure Dharma, not allowing the mind to become dark is called the precept from refraining from using intoxicants. And this dark is sometimes I use dark, well, like Zenju does, uh, as the stuff we're hiding from. That to go into the dark is a good thing, to go into our trauma, to go into our fear. But this just means the stuff we cover up, uh, not allowing the mind to become dark, to shut down I don't want to feel that. I don't want to listen to news. It's too, I'm too fragile to listen to news. Um, I don't want to face my fear, my errors. I don't want to face that. That's allowing this crow often approves of what I have to say. My biggest fan. Uh, Not allowing the mind to shut down is called the precept of refraining from using intoxicants. And Dogen Zenji says, do not introduce intoxicants. Do not make others defile themselves. This is the great awareness. Now, again, it's very important to talk about intoxicants and the dangers of drugs and alcohol. The way I'm talking about this koan is the way Maizumi Roshi did. And of course, as you know, he struggled with his relationship with alcohol. Um, but I do think the understanding of intoxicants as my ego, my bullshit, um, is maybe a more accurate way to understand this. And part of my bullshit is I have to have wine to feel good or whatever, chocolate. Um, do not introduce intoxicants. And then do not make others defile themselves. So if you preach hatred, if you preach separation, uh, if you preach just feel good, just find your bliss and ignore the news of the world, ignore the suffering of the world. That's allowing others to defile themselves, not only you, but you're doing it to others. So don't do that. This is the great awareness. And of course, we all do all of this stuff. And Bodhidharma and Dogen knew that. So it's not working with the precepts. This week is kind of a week of thinking about the precepts, and Kyoshin's going to do the empowerment ceremony so that she can offer Chikai and give the precepts to people. So this working with the precepts is not at all about becoming some kind of robot do-gooder. It's about being complicated and mysterious. And like I said, these precepts are little guideposts, little beings that pop up and go, watch your step. And and following these, when you're on a hike and you get off the trail, it is really easy to get lost, especially if you're me. I have been lost so many times. Well, I just think I'll go see what's over there. So these little markers on, well, here's the trail. And yeah, it's rough out here. It's wild. It's full of suffering and ego and delusion. Um, but here's some little advices to help us along the way. And of course, sometimes, there's the three ways of looking at the precepts, which is always important to keep in mind. Sometimes medicine is good. It could be sharing a bottle of wine with your enemy and letting go of whatever that's called when you're afraid to say inhibitions, letting go of inhibitions and really speaking the truth. That might be the medicine for the moment. And sometimes it's the right thing to do. Cup of coffee, oh boy, cup of hot coffee when someone's lost in the mountains with a bunch of bears can really do a lot of good. And then the intrinsic is as far as perfect. So your life as it is right now is perfect. And here's the little guidepost towards really living the most harmonious life we can together. That's how I understand the precepts and how I understand this precept. So